For more than 20 years, CTV has captured the moments that matter in our community. From our studios in St. Clair, you're watching Focus with Paul Dingeman.
Welcome to another edition of the Focus program. It's nice to have you along. Once again, as we have mentioned the last couple of weeks, we are on location again this week as we're moving from one studio to another studio. That progress is coming along, and we should be giving you some news about our new facility at City Hall, St. Clair City Hall, in a few short weeks. But we're enjoying being out and seeing the people and the things that are going on in the community. We always try and keep you informed of what's happening. One of those things is another concert from the world-famous Paul Schaefer, the producer excellence. Oh, he's not smiling over there. And he is bringing you, sir, and your name again is?
Hai Xin Wu.
Hai Xin Wu. Welcome back to St. Clair.
Well, glad to be back. Wonderful.
You were here a couple years ago.
Yes.
And you were performing at the time, I think over at St. Mary's, if I'm correct?
Yes.
And you are returning to St. Clair with a performance with your bride on September the 8th, right around the corner, and in the location that we are in, the First United Methodist Church. Tell me what's going on.
Well, this time, first is always glad to play in St. Clair. It's wonderful. We have been playing twice here, right. Invited by Paul. I played with my Detroit Symphony colleagues twice, and every time was a wonderful experience. We had a great time, and even better was the party afterwards, greeting the audience and having fun. You always say the musicians don't live for the concert, but they live for the party afterwards. But this time we're very looking forward. And this time I'm going to play with my wife, who is a pianist, and also she is currently the assistant professor of collaborative piano in Michigan State University. And we're going to be presenting a recital for violin and piano.
You're both in education too, aren't you?
Yes, and she is more than I do. She is basically full-time teaching at Michigan State. I do my part-time teaching at Wayne State.
Okay, and you went to the University of Michigan, am I correct?
My wife did.
Your wife did?
Yeah, and she also went to Eastern Michigan University and the Michigan State. So whenever there's a football game, she doesn't know who to root for.
You turn the television off and play the piano.
Exactly. And she just kind of getting confused.
Right. Let's go back to what the performance is going to be here on September the 8th.
It's going to be, of course, as I mentioned, it's going to be a recital for violin and piano. But traditionally, if you hear that kind of things, you will just, the classical music connoisseur know you're going to basically be here a lot of chamber music, violin and piano duet. And we decided to break the pattern a little bit, to show off a little bit of variety, to have a little bit more fun. So we'll start with traditionally a very classical sonata by Mozart, which the last ever sonata he wrote for violin and piano. And then I will actually take a break. And my wife will play two pieces by the famous Polish composer Frédéric Chopin, which, you cannot go wrong with Chopin.
No.
And one is his waltz, one is his ballade. Then the second half, not to be outdone by her, it's kind of a bit of a spouse competition. Right. I will do my piece for violin solo by myself. And that's a very famous piece by the great composer Bach, his Chaconne. If you talk about this top 10 pieces in the violin repertoire, that one probably is the top 5. One of the most profound pieces I'm trying to advertising. And it's, then after that, we'll finish with a sonata, which in a traditional recital sense by the French composer Saint-Saëns, and it's a very virtuoso, fun piece. So that's basically the program.
Sounds like a wonderful show. September the 8th starts at 5 o'clock here at the First United Methodist Church. Tickets are $20 single or $40 for a family. And there's normally an afterglow after. Is there another afterglow after it? There's an afterglow again at Drifters, and those are, as you said, are wonderful.
Yes, so we love to meet audiences, talk to them, and we like to see their feedbacks, and always it's fun thing to meet new people.
In researching you for this interview, I had the opportunity to go on the world famous Google, and there was an interview conducted down in Grosse Pointe for a performance that you were going to conduct at, I think, the War Memorial a few years ago. And they went into your early history, how you and your bride met at a really early age, and you performed and learned in China. Can you go through some of that for us?
Oh, sure. And both of us, my wife and I, were admitted into this kind of a special school for talented musical kid. And I was about 2 years older than she is. And
Are you still 2 years older than she is?
at this point, but didn't look like that way anymore. So it's a very small school. Everybody knows everybody. It's only like 40 of us. And so we know each other by name and we know each other by face, but I never talked to her. And she belonged to a different crowd, and shy and awkward as I am. I never really talked. Not until both of us came to Michigan. She was studying at U of M, and I was actually playing with the DSO. And one of our mutual friends, another classmate of ours from Shanghai, was having a recital. And she was a pianist, and I was invited, not by her, by my other friend to the recital. In the intermission, I saw she was running around being very frustrated. I said, "What's going on?" And she said, "No, my page turner was terrible. I cannot deal with." I said, "Can I turn page?" So things started.
That's how it started.
Once in this weather, and we got married, and we have been married for more than 10 years.
Isn't that wonderful? It's a great story. And China has changed since you left. How long ago did you leave?
I left China in 1989.
89.
Yeah.
And then you came over to the United States. You went to New York first?
Yes, I was in New York for 5-6 years, and then came to Michigan 1995. And I'm a United States citizen, and I make this here home now.
What are your responsibilities and duties at the DSO?
I'm right now the Assistant Concert Master. So basically, I'm sitting either second chair or third chair, and when the first two chairs not there, I sit the first chair. I lead. Basically, I'm in what we call the title position, to kind of be a little bit in a leadership position.
DSO has gone through growing pains, anger, frustration, all sorts of things in the last 5 or 10 years, and now they really seem to be on a really high level, and they're doing such great things all across the state of Michigan.
The morale is very high. It's getting better. We have always constantly like a new blood coming in, and we're attracting some very good players, and the orchestra is getting better every day. And we are right now is looking for a music director, and that will take us into the next level of playing. But at this time, what I like DSO is because everybody took so much trouble to get into DSO, because the audition process is extremely difficult. Everybody took pride in their work. And so there is a kind of a mentality, it doesn't matter who is conducting, we're gonna play well. We do our job, and then, but we are looking for somebody which gonna really inspire us, beyond good to become great. So we're looking forward. We're waiting.
And you've played at Carnegie Hall.
Yes.
And many other wonderful places around the world, but you come back to Michigan all the time.
Well, DSO, the orchestra hall, is one of the best halls in the world. It's so nice to play. I remember in the late 90s, DSO went to Toronto to play in the hall of Toronto Symphony, and the Toronto Symphony came to our hall. And I have to say, our hall was a little bit warmer sounding. But what's good about DSO is we remembered what the sound we produced in our own hall. And even with the kind of a less than satisfactory acoustics, we still kind of kept our kind of tradition and kept our kind of that kind of warm sound, even in a kind of a different hall. So it's a very interesting thing. A good hall will kind of make you play better. You play the right way, you don't overplay, that kind of thing.
I've had the opportunity in the last couple of years to come down to the DSO for some of the pop stuff and some of the other things. It's just it's a wonderful venue to be in as a consumer.
Oh, thank you for supporting us. And we're trying to be a little bit more than just orchestra. We want to be a center. Okay. You have to know this is a gem. The next year is the 100-year anniversary, and we're gonna have quite some exciting concerts coming up.
You are also teaching, and you said, I think in that article that I read, something to the effect of watching children or watching students light up.
Yeah, I started teaching when I was very young, out of necessity. Then I grew to like it a lot, and I taught with besides teaching at Wayne State, I do with Detroit Civic Orchestra, with those young people. And for them, it's really fun. You see them, because what they do is they don't play for money, or they don't play, they go there because they love it. And that enthusiasm kind of rubs off. I kind of got inspired by them, not I inspired, their enthusiasm just really is rubbing off me.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Well, we want to invite the people to come. It's September the 8th, just around the corner, right here at the First United Methodist Church, downtown St. Clair. $20 for single, $40 for family, $5 for students at the door. And let's go through again what you're going to do.
Well, it's a violin and piano recital, Mozart, Chopin, Bach, Saint-Saëns. You cannot get any better than that.
And two great performers.
Well, we'll do our best.
Thank you so much for coming back to St. Clair.
Thanks for watching Focus with Paul Dingeman. Focus is produced at the CTV Community Television Studios in St. Clair. For over 20 years, CTV has captured the moments that matter to our community.